Well, it's not your game. You didn't make the rules, so everything comes hard. And as long as you're signed to a contract, you're going to take a minority share of the winnings. A select few of us will do well, the majority will not. So as a people, we'll be considered a minority.
Prince's journey to becoming a global icon wasn't handed to him on a silver platter. Born into a world where the rules were already stacked against him, he defied the odds with raw talent and relentless ambition. From his breakout album, Purple Rain, a cultural phenomenon that redefined music and film, to becoming one of the most prolific artists of all time, Prince was a force to be reckoned with. But behind the scenes, his story was far more complex. The music industry, known for its glittering allure, was also a battlefield. Prince quickly realized that talent alone wasn't enough. The industry demanded control, and for artists, that often meant sacrificing ownership of their work. In the early 90s, Prince found himself in a heated battle with Warner Brothers Records. The conflict? Ownership of his music. While the world knew him as a musical genius, the record label saw him as a product, a means to an end. Prince, however, wasn't about to let that stand. In a bold and unforgettable move, he appeared in public with the word slave written across his face. It was a statement that shook the industry and resonated with artists worldwide. He even changed his name to an unpronounceable symbol, forcing the media to refer to him as the artist formerly known as Prince. These acts weren't just headlines. They were a rebellion against an industry that sought to suppress him. Prince was outspoken about the need for artists to own their masters. He famously said, "If you don't own your master owns you." This wasn't just about money, it was about justice and creative freedom. For Prince, ownership was everything. He once explained, "I paid for my albums. I recorded them in my own studio. Why shouldn't I own them?" This fight for ownership wasn't unique to Prince.
It's not like we're against them or anything like that. The idea is that we find better ways of working with one another. It shouldn't be a situation where they own the album or the work. We're talking about intellectual copyright. If they're going to be indeed a delivery service, then that's fine. But even FedEx doesn't say that they own the thing that they ship, right? Because ultimately it keeps us apart, and it keeps the people in power in charge of us. So ultimately we're going to have to learn how to be together and become one people.
Legends like Michael Jackson and George Michael also waged similar battles, referring to their contracts as professional slavery. But while many artists backed down, Prince doubled down. He started his own labels, released music on his own terms, and inspired others to fight for their autonomy. Prince didn't just battle record labels, he also foresaw the challenges posed by the digital era. In his own words, "The internet is like a black hole. It's hard to audit, hard to get accounting, and even harder to ensure fairness." As streaming platforms rose to prominence, Prince was one of the first to criticize how they devalued art. While the internet opened doors for independent artists, it also created a system where creators often received a fraction of what their work was worth. For Prince, this wasn't just a financial issue, it was about respect for the art itself. Prince wasn't just a trailblazer for himself, he was a mentor and an inspiration to countless others. Comedian Katt Williams recently opened up about his personal relationship with Prince, describing him as a guiding force. According to Katt, Prince's high-level thinking and relentless drive for independence were nothing short of transformative. Katt also hinted at darker forces at play, suggesting that Prince's outspoken nature and fight for ownership might have made him a target within the industry. These claims have reignited debates about the mysterious circumstances surrounding Prince's untimely death in 2016. Prince wasn't just a musician, he was a master of reinvention. From his eclectic fashion choices to his ever-evolving sound, Prince showed the world that you didn't need to conform to succeed. He taught us that creativity has no bounds, and that true artistry lies in embracing change. Whether it was wearing heels unapologetically or challenging societal norms, Prince was always 30 steps ahead of the curve. His legacy is a testament to the power of staying true to oneself, no matter the cost. Prince's story is a double-edged sword, a tale of unparalleled success and the price that comes with it. He once said, "It's not the money, it's about justice and fairness." And yet, the industry he helped shape often worked against him. Despite the challenges, Prince remained unyielding. His fight wasn't just for himself, but for every artist struggling to reclaim their voice in a system designed to silence them. But the story doesn't end there. Prince's passing left a void not only in the music industry, but also in the hearts of millions of fans around the world. His fearless fight for independence became a rallying cry for artists seeking creative freedom, but it also highlighted the stark realities of an industry rooted in exploitation. In the wake of his death, the legal battle over his estate raged on. With no will to guide the division of his assets, his fortune and music catalog became the center of a contentious struggle involving family members, legal teams, and corporate entities. This chaos only added fuel to the conspiracy theories surrounding his passing. Was this lack of a will another calculated move by the industry to keep his legacy fragmented? Posthumous releases of Prince's music have generated millions, bringing his art to a new generation of listeners. But this raises a haunting question. How much of this revenue is honoring Prince's vision, and how much is simply lining the pockets of corporations he fought so hard against? This isn't unique to Prince. Icons like Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, and Tupac Shakur have all had their legacies monetized after their deaths. It's a grim reminder that, in the eyes of the industry, even tragedy can be turned into profit.
Generated several $1 billion for Sony. I own half of Sony's publishing, and I'm leaving them, and they're very angry at me because of it, but I just did good business, you know. The way they get revenge is to try and destroy my album. And Tommy Mottola is a devil. I'm not supposed to say what I'm going to say right now, but I have to let you in on a secret.
Say it.
Mariah Carey, after divorcing Tommy, came to me crying. She said to me that this is an evil man. And Michael, this man follows me, she said. He taps her phones, and he's very, very evil, and she doesn't trust him. And he is a horrible human being. We have to continue our drive until he's terminated.
For Prince, who valued ownership and fairness above all else, this posthumous exploitation feels like a betrayal of everything he stood for. Katt Williams' claims aren't easy to dismiss when you consider the pattern of loss among outspoken legends. Michael Jackson openly criticized record executives, calling them devils, and accusing them of exploiting artists.
Artists have been taken advantage of. James Brown to Sammy Davis Jr., some of the real pioneers that inspired me to be the entertainer that I am. These artists are always on tour because if they stop touring, they would totally go broken. Record companies really, really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists. Sony, Tommy Mottola. Tommy Mottola is the president of the record division. He is a mean, he's a racist, and he's very, very, very devilish.
Whitney Houston's struggles were similarly well documented, and her untimely death left fans questioning how much of her pain was inflicted by the industry. Even Kanye West, one of today's most controversial artists, has spoken out about the dark forces in the music world. He once drew chilling parallels between himself, Prince, and Michael Jackson, warning about what happens to those who challenge the system. Kanye's words, though often dismissed as ramblings, take on a new weight when viewed through this lens. Adding to the intrigue is the nature of Prince's health in his final days. Known for his disciplined lifestyle, Prince avoided drugs and alcohol, making the reports of a fentanyl overdose deeply suspicious. The counterfeit pills found in his possession further complicate the narrative. These weren't prescribed to him, and their origins remain unknown. Could these pills have been deliberately introduced into his life? The idea isn't far-fetched for fans who believe that Prince, much like Michael Jackson, was targeted for his refusal to conform. Despite the controversies, one thing remains clear. Prince's impact on the music industry is undeniable. His fight for independence has inspired countless artists to take control of their work and challenge the status quo. He proved that it was possible to stand up to an industry built on exploitation, even if the cost was high. But his story is also a cautionary tale, a reminder of the risks faced by those who dare to speak out. Prince's legacy is more than just his music. It's a symbol of resistance, a beacon for artists who refuse to be silenced. So where does this leave us? Prince's life and death have sparked a conversation that's bigger than just one artist. It's about the rights of creators, the value of art, and the systems that seek to control both. As fans, it's up to us to keep asking questions and demanding accountability. What do you think? Was Prince's untimely death a tragic accident, or was it something more sinister? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We'll be back soon with more stories that challenge the narratives we've been told. Stay curious, stay questioning, and remember, The truth is always worth fighting for.